ball in between your hands. The soles of your feet are on the floor. Your knees are gently open, and just start to melt your spine a little bit into the floor, kind of sensing that all of your vertebrae are nice and happily planted. And again, if you notice that there's a little bit of space between your lower back and the floor, that's okay. Just not tucking or arching that pelvis. And your elbows are coming out all the way to the side. And let's take a nice deep breath, inhaling, expand. And let's exhale, bring the ribs back together, squeezing the ball all the way up. So we're inhaling, bringing the elbows to the side, tapping the ball on the belly. And then exhaling, reweaving, squeezing and reaching. And at this moment, you're trying to feel how the space between your shoulders and your ears get a little bit longer and wider apart. Perhaps you can even sense that your spine can melt a little bit deeper into the mat. And that feeling of your elbows trying to create a little bit more space towards the outer rim of your mat. Great, and another 2. And that full range of motion. And all the way back. Great, let's bring the ball a little bit higher up. Take a nice deep inhale. And then squeeze the ball as you exhale, head, neck, and shoulders come up. And bring the ball into your right hand. Left hand comes behind your head. And then bring the ball all the way up by your ears here in that right hand. Inhaling, take a nice deep breath. And then slowly push the ball down as you squeeze those thighs back together in towards the center. And then open them up and return the feet back down to the floor. Inhaling, reaching the arm up by your ears. And then exhale, pushing down, lift up the knees, squeeze them together, and then open them up and replant them back. Great, so think about like a few things are happening simultaneously, but we're really trying to push down as you engage the belly, squeeze the knees into your tabletop, open and then lower. Good, 2 more. And then as we exhale, and remember, if you feel like you need actually both hands to support your neck, you can do that as well. But stretching out that shoulder, and again, within that process, you allow the neck to just get a little bit more of a release. Great, lift up the arm all the way by your ear, take a nice deep inhale. And then slowly bring the ball in between the middle, releasing your left hand, and then squeezing for me here. Great, inhale, slowly bring the knees up in towards the center as the ball goes in between your legs. And then exhale, release, lift, and hold. So that means we're gonna come in between as the knees come in. And you're basically squeezing the ball and reaching up as the tap toes down. So you can notice that you're almost creating gentle easing of shapes. With the reaching in between your legs and then slowly tapping and squeezing up. 2 more. And you're almost sensing again where your arms can maybe touch the inner thighs. If you touch your own body within this process, it's okay. You don't have to clear every body part. And all the way back. Right hand comes behind your head on the right side. Left arm goes all the way up by your ears. And we slowly push down on the left. Engage the entire palm as you lift the knees up. Squeeze them back together. And then exhale, open and tap back down. So we're making this inhale nice and long. And then the exhale, squeeze, lift. And then return. Great, 3 more. And then checking in with that right elbow. And noticing again how quickly or how slowly you'd actually like to move through this. Ideally slower is better, but there is a slow sense of, or a small sense of ease and flow. And reminding your feet to stay happily connected throughout this process as you engage the belly and then slowly return. Great, lifting up the left arm and then returning it into the middle. Right hand comes on the side and then slowly lift up those knees. Great, inhaling here, squeezing, and then exhaling, tapping and reaching for 5. And remember to feel again how maybe you're even using the arms and the inner thighs to kind of help each other to reach a little bit more. Great, last two. And then your last one here. Great, slowly melt down your head, neck, and shoulders on 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's bring the ball right away, actually, underneath the lower back. Just kind of sense, so remember, it's not in the middle of your back, it's your lower back. Your bum might be resting on it a little bit. The feet are on the outside of the mat and your arms come into a T position. Great, from here, open up your chest as much as you possibly can by engaging the belly and thinking about pushing down into the mat and kind of rolling your shoulders back. And then from there, I want you to reweave the ribs so that your spine stays long and straight. Good, inhaling, gently look towards the right, allowing for a stretch through the right side. And then exhale, come on back. Good, over to the left for an inhale, gentle gaze at your left shoulder. Exhale back. Great, slowly start to bring the left knee up and then the right. Now you're keeping your balance here. If you feel at any point you need to put one foot down, please do it. Inhale, gently gaze towards the right. And then exhale back. Over towards the left. And then come on back. Great, let's stretch out those legs to a nice upward V. Inhale to the right. And then exhale back. And then over to the left. Wow, the sun might even be coming out. How awesome is that? And all the way back. Great, slowly bend the knees. And then return the feet back down to the floor on 3, 2, and 1. Great, let's bring the right arm up and then the left. Take a nice deep inhale. And slowly bring the right arm all the way behind you, making a nice little circle. Maybe a medium circle. And then returning back to the center. Left arm comes all the way back. And then find your way back. Good. This time, keeping your right leg there, I want you to lift your left knee in towards the middle, towards the outside. Inhaling, circle that right arm around. And exhale back. And then the left, kind of noticing your shifting of weight might actually have to change a little bit because the left leg is floating. And then return the left leg as you engage and slowly float the right knee upwards. And then starting again, inhaling with the right and just taking it slow and sensing again, all right, what do I need to engage here in order to try and keep that stability? And the left arm goes around and then returning it back. Good, foot goes back down on the floor. Slowly put both palms down. And then bring both knees again back into the center, squeezing them together for me here. Great, let's reach up the right leg for a nice little stretch. And then slowly lower that right leg down to a nice long parallel position. And then exhale, return that right leg all the way up. So if you feel like, hey, I feel a little bit unstable, you can always put the left foot back down on the floor. Otherwise, continue to reach with that right. And then stretch it all the way up for the next 2. And remembering that we're using the belly to allow for that stretch, that you may feel a little bit of a release in the hip socket, but that we're not trying to use the hip socket in its own. Great, and from here, stretch out that left leg for me. Gently turn out your legs, and then just slowly scissor switch your legs for 5. Kind of making sure that the heels stay close to each other, but not touching for 4. And trying to draw little lines with your toes so that we're staying somewhat in a straight line for 3. Exhaling out for 2. And your full last inhale. And then return it all the way out for 1. Great. Finding your knees back into the center. Take a deep breath. And then stretching this left leg all the way up. Right leg stays where it is. And we inhale, lower the left leg down towards the floor. Exhale, engage, and then find our way back. Now, if you feel like you want to bring the right leg a little bit lower, or again, if you need to put it back down on the floor, please do so. You're just trying to find where your limit is of reaching without actually touching the floor for the next 3. Up for 2. And then that last bit here for 1. Great, slowly and steadily opening up your knees for me here, keeping the insides of your feet together for a sec. And then engage the belly as you stretch out your legs here. All right, we're gonna make little shapes of a circle. So you're gonna bring the right leg to the bottom, the left leg goes to the top. And then we're gonna slowly circle around, changing the direction of your legs. Now, if you notice that you can actually cross your toes, meaning that your left goes a little bit beyond it, that's totally fine. If you feel like you wanna just keep them straight on top of each other, like drawing a line, that's okay as well. Good, last two here. And then your last one, slowly reaching around, inhaling, and then engaging the belly to come on back. Great, knees come back into the center, soles of your feet go back down on the floor. And slowly reach up, lifting the ball away from your lower back and then melting down for me. 3, 2, and 1. Great. Let's bring the ball in between the thighs and walk your feet a little bit further away. We're gonna work a little bit on our roll-ups and bring your heels all the way into the ground. So I want you to find a position where your feet are like pretty far away, but still supportive enough. Inhaling, reaching the arms all the way up. Let's take a nice deep exhale as we slowly come up, head, neck, and shoulders. Remember, we can walk up if we need to. Finding our way to our nice tall seated position. Great, from here, you're gonna curl down one vertebrae at a time. And whenever you're ready, you release and roll. Great, 2 more. Inhaling, circle. And then exhale, head, neck, and shoulders come up. Walk, peel, and sit. Inhale and curl just a bit. Squeezing well as you exhale, return. Great, last time. Inhaling, circle. And then using the abdominals to exhale, reach and curl. Great, put your hands behind your knees as you inhale, curl back. And then exhale, peel. Great, let's sweep the arms all the way up again. And then head, neck, and shoulders come all the way up. When you get to the top, you tap to that back right corner. And then find your way back to the center, curl right away back down. Great, inhaling, circle around. Exhaling, up, twisting to the left as you get to the top. Finding your way back, and then curling back down. So you're keeping the gentle squeeze on the ball almost the whole time, and we're alternating sides of curling and twisting and returning and engaging. And remember that if at any point you feel like you need to walk yourself up, please do so. By returning that sensation of allowing each vertebrae to have its moment. Got one more time on each side. So curling it up and not rushing that feeling, but really utilizing the belly to peel and snap, right? We're like slowly articulating down for our last time here. Inhaling. And then exhale, come up and twist. Great, all the way back. And then finding your way into a nice long position. Hands come behind your head. And let's walk your feet just a little bit closer. Soles of your feet can come back down if that feels better. Great, we're gonna squeeze as we twist all the way to the right. Now, as we go to the left, I want you to reach your right arm to the left leg. So we're twisting to the right, elbows stay open, squeeze. And as you release, you reach your right arm to the outside of your left. So you're allowing the right shoulder to get a little bit of a reaching feeling. You're still trying to keep both hips on the floor, so you're just twisting from your waist, but almost noticing that you can come up a tiny bit higher each time you reach. Good, we have another 3, so squeeze as we go to the right, and then exhale, lift your way to the left. And how the difference of feeling between both hands behind your head versus a squeezed ball versus having just one hand behind your head. Your last one here, inhaling, release. Exhale, stretch. Great, finding your way back to the center. And let's go to the other side. So let's squeeze to the left now, inhaling. And then exhale, release, reach to the right. So you're just changing the direction of the twist and the ball. And then the release and the reach. For the next 5. And maybe checking how does this side feel versus the other. Can you maybe come up a little bit higher? It's not that you're like trying to come crazily off the floor, but even just a little bit of an extra lift for the next 2. And your last final inhale, exhale, twist. Great, finding your way back to the center. Let's release the hands, melt yourself down for me on 3, 2, 1. Take one step closer to your bum with each foot, plant your hands down on the floor, squeeze the ball, and let's peel ourselves all the way up into a nice lifted bridge position. Great, the hands are coming off of the floor. You're gonna squeeze the ball as you reach your arms, keeping your arms parallel. And then as you release the ball, I want your hands to come underneath and reach and tap. So if you can tap your thumbs on your way back, give it a go. And if you can't, just imagine reaching for them as we squeeze and wrap the ball and then return. Good, we have another 3. And noticing again how your thighs are working together, but your feet are still planted on the floor. You're trying to engage those pelvic muscles to try and squeeze and wrap the ball for the next 2. And your last one here. Great, put your hands back down on the floor. Let's melt our spines 1 vertebrae at a time. On 3, 2, and 1. Great, take the ball in between your hands, please. Now, if you feel like you actually prefer to have both hands as stability on the floor, by all means go for it. Otherwise, we're gonna do a little bit of a moving bridge, so the ball is just gonna stay in our hands for some help or some extra layers. So you're squeezing the ball, we're grounding through the left foot, reaching the right leg all the way up, and then coming back down like we did earlier, switching legs. So the right leg grounds, the left leg lifts, stretch. And then we bring both feet down to the floor, tapping the ball to the belly. So you're essentially allowing for each reach of a leg to combine with a reach of the arms. But if you feel like you prefer to have both hands on the floor, please do so. Great, we have another 3 on each side, so take your time. Now even as you're moving here, take notice that your hips aren't dipping. We want to keep that sensation of having balanced, equal hips as best as we can. And if your leg stretch doesn't feel like can go for a full stretch today, by all means, just keep it bent. But let's not forget about that full expansion of the breath as we inhale up. Then exhale, slowly return back to the middle for your last one here. Great, let's find our way all the way back up, lifting that right leg for me here for a moment. And let's find our way slowly tapping our toes and then returning up. So you're essentially tapping and dipping and lowering and lifting. Now when I say dipping, I just mean both hips. I don't mean one hip is dipping more than the other. Great, we have another 3. Ball stays gently squeezed and bringing your hands for 2. And then your last one here for 1. Great, right foot comes down slowly and steadily. Switch legs for me here. And we bend, tap both toes, or rather your set of toes, dip both hips, and then slowly reach on up for 6. Now again, keeping the ball squeezed as much as you can. It's not that you're squeezing the life out of the ball, you're just gently squeezing on it to activate your arms and give yourself a feeling of reach for the next 3. Inhaling it up and finding your way back down for 2. And your last one. Great, slowly put the left foot down and then let's slowly melt our spines 1 vertebrae at a time on 3, 2, and 1. Excellent, reaching out both legs in front of you. Bring the arms all the way up by your ears. Take a nice inhale, reach, and then exhale, squeeze the ball. Find your way all the way up for 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's come on to this side here. Yeah, you know what, let's do that. Let's lean into the ball. Now, remember, leaning into the ball here is not like a super cozy hangout. It's like a nice awareness piece of like, all right, the ball's here. I've got things going on, but I can still hold my body. Okay, your fingertips are going to be in Spidey mode and your fingertips on your right are facing your left palm. You're gently going to gaze down just a little bit, adding a little bit of a twist here. Great, stretching up this right leg to a nice lifted diagonal. You're slowly tapping the toes down in the front and then reaching them back up. So for now, we're just focusing on the isolation of the right leg. If at any point you feel like your body is getting a little bit tight or something feels awkward, Just listen to yourself and see where you can adjust accordingly. Maybe it means that you have to move your leg a little bit less. Maybe it means you need to move slower. Great, we have another 3. Slowly and steadily lifting up for 2. And then the last one. Great, finding your way back to the center. Let's take the ball out, but don't drop your positioning. And put the ball all the way here for me. From here, we're squeezing on down, opening the knee, stretching up the leg, and then reclosing and returning. So you're using the push as an open and a reach, and then a return and a release. Great, we have another 3. Squeezing for 2. And then your last bit for 1. Great, pushing into the ball, lifting up your hips for me if that's possible. And then opening up your knee, bringing your knee in towards you, and then tapping it down. So keeping the lift, we're not trying to stretch out the leg at the moment. I want you to keep the bend, feeling how the side body gets nice and active. Good, 4 more. Inhaling for 3, keeping that right shoulder down for 2, and noticing how your left side body still stays long for 1. Super, finding your way all the way back down on 3, 2, and 1. Great, swinging those legs all the way in front for a moment, sitting up nice and tall, and then bringing your left knee into a bent position, arms go nice and long with the ball, and slowly hinge back for me. Good. Engaging the belly, squeezing the ball, flexing and lifting this right leg just a little bit off of the floor. Cool. From here, you're slowly pointing your toes. And then as you flex again, you're going to bring the ball in. So at the moment, we're just hovering and holding the leg as you lean back. And notice that you have your stability, even if only left foot is planted. Great. We have another 3, shoulders down. Inhale, squeeze and flex, stretching out for 2. And then your last one here. Great, keeping the foot nice and flexed, elbows go to the side. We're gonna squeeze to the side as you bring the right knee in towards the middle, and then flex and push away. Inhaling, twisting to the right knee comes in, and kick and push. Now I want you to think about not necessarily moving your knees, meaning your knees should stay parallel to one another. We feel that full range of motion of the twist and the squeeze for the next 2. And that last one. Excellent, both feet come down on the floor. Slowly reach up your arms, and then allow your feet to come back together, and then allow that upper body to just reach and roll. Finding a nice little wiggle through the center. Cool. Slowly and steadily wiggle yourself and roll yourself back up. Let's go over to the right side. All right, so the ball comes underneath the right. Your right arm is nice and lifted. Your left fingers make that spidey shape. And then we gently twist down, bring the left elbow back. Great, you're opening your knee, lengthening that left leg up, kind of at the diagonal. And we slowly lower down and then lift up. So if you notice, your knee is at the diagonal because you're trying to give your angle or your hip a different angle, which also targets your legs in a different way. But remember, trying to keep this mobility concept in check for the next 5. And slowly, steadily moving for 4. And feeling how not only your leg is moving, but actually there are so many body parts that work together to hold you here for 3. Engaging the belly as we lift and exhale for 2. And your last one for 1. Great, knees come back together, take the ball out and bring it nice and long in front of you, still keeping the twist. So we push down, open up and stretch out that left leg, and then close the toes and squeeze the knees together as you release the ball. So there's this feeling of pushing to open the legs, and then as you close the legs, you release the ball down. So remember, just allowing the brain as well to work in slightly opposing directions, but yet still interweaving all of our body parts. Good, for the next 3. And noticing again if any part of your hip feels a little bit tight. And if you're actually originating this move from your hip socket, or can you actually feel how your core is doing more of the heavy lifting while allowing the hips to come along and be supported. Great. So from here, we're pushing into the ball, gazing downwards, lifting up the hips, opening that left knee, bringing the left knee in towards us, keeping it bent as you tap your toes down towards the center. So we're trying to keep that feeling of lift and hold. Inhaling, left knee comes in, exhaling, engage, feeling how your glutes come along, and keep this nice and smooth for the next 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Slowly come on down. Swing your legs in front and then find your way back into your nice seated position. This time bending your right knee, ball comes in towards the middle. Slowly hinge back a little bit and then flex that foot and lift. Great, so we're slowly pointing and reaching and then exhale, returning. Now here we're just allowing for the ankle to stretch. We're giving our calf a little bit of a stretch. So keeping the chest open, shoulders down as we reach the fingertips for the next 3. And grounding for 2. Great, and then feeling how the spine still can stay long for 1. Great, here we go. We're twisting to the left. Left knee comes in and then find your way back. And remember, we're trying to keep both knees nice and stable. We've got that feeling of a reach with that left elbow back towards the floor for the next 3. Expanding as you inhale, twist for 2. And then that last final space of reach for 1. Great, foot comes on the floor, reach the arms all the way up, and then allow your body to fold forward and roll on for 3, 2, and 1. Great, finding your way all the way back. Cool. So let's come over onto all fours for me here. Let's bring the ball underneath the left arm or the left hand. Right hand's on the floor and both elbows are back. Your left toes are tucked. You're bringing your right knee out. So we're not parallel, but think about opening that right leg. Great, from here you're gonna roll the, sorry, I lied. Give me 1 second, I need to get something for my knee. My left knee has become a little bit sensitive, even with my super cushy mat. All right, there we go. Much better. All right, so here we go. So you're gonna roll into the ball, stretch out the leg, keep the right arm stable, and then find your way back. So it's almost, think about rolling in enough that you can gaze almost at your right toe, and then return on back. So if you feel like this bit is too much, then you can always just separate it, or just do the leg and not do the arm. There's a gentle bend that's happening in the right arm, but not too much. I want you to feel that waist twisting as well as you allow for the ball to reach. And you might even notice that you get a little bit longer because that the lean happens a little bit more, or that the ball finds itself a little bit further up your arm. Good, last 2. And then your last one here. Awesome, let's stay here for a moment, gently twisting, pushing into the ball, and then pushing out with the leg as you bend and stretch for 5. Keeping the left elbow bent, right elbow is a micro bend for 4. Gently gazing backwards for 3. Trying to keep that knee lifted for 2. And happily smiling for 1. Great, finding your way back to the center, take a deep breath. And then open up your knees as you allow the ball to roll forward. And just find yourself in a little stretchy position here. Awesome. Great, let's find our way back to the center. Let's go straight away to the other side, which means the right knee is bent. The left foot is resting on the right ankle, and the left knee is open to the side. So you keep it small in the beginning, right? You're just tentatively rolling, feeling how it feels. Not trying to make everything super big from the beginning. Elbow goes back, and you roll and reach a little bit more as that left elbow still reaches towards the left hip, and then find your way back. And we inhale, noticing how that stretch and reach can get a tiny bit longer. Engaging the belly to find our way back towards that grounding, balanced position for the next 3. Now, if at any point something feels like, no, this isn't working for me, please feel free to adjust And just know again that your shoulders can stay away from your ears. Your neck can release, and we can, of course, release tension for your last time here. Good. Keeping the ball underneath the right hand, gently gazing towards that left leg, right elbow is bent as we bend and stretch that left leg for the next 5, 4, and again, sensing where the stability is. Even if your right arm is holding you on this ball, your belly is still lifted for 3. Engaging the glute for 2. And squeezing away for 1. Great. Finding your way back to the center, opening up your knees, and then slowly shifting back, rolling forward, and allowing for all of this to happen. Inhaling again. And then exhale, slowly pick on up for 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let's do a little bit of reaching. So let's come into a kneeling position with no ball. All right, both arms come all the way out. Give yourself a nice little wiggle. We're gonna come onto this left arm as the right leg reaches and the right arm reaches. And then finding your way back to the center and straight away over to the other side. So think of it as like a rainbow reach. When we shift sides, I want us to still maintain a sense of alertness and stability as we then go to the other side, right? So it's not that we're not skipping the middle part. You like sense that you're shifting your weight and tapping over. Great. Cool, let's do one more on each side. So it's like that slow and then maybe a little bit faster as you reach. And then slow as you exhale, reach. Awesome, finding your way back to the center, take a deep breath. And then bringing both hands up and over for a moment. Okay, from here you're tucking your toes for me. So you're kind of like in a small curled position. You're tucking your toes and you're gonna lift up your knees. Great, and then you're bringing your knees in towards the center and then giving yourself a walk with the right and a walk with the left, opening up and then finding yourself in a nice open plank position. Great, from here take a deep inhale and then slowly stretch your left arm towards your right ankle. And then give yourself a nice moment in the middle before you switch sides. Right hand goes towards your left ankle and then reach. And remember, these are not about necessarily huge moves. We're just trying to stretch the body a little bit through strength and create a feeling of shifting of weight while still staying stable. Great, last one here. Excellent, bringing your elbows down. 3, 2, 1. Slowly find your way on the floor, untuck your toes, and then just push yourself up for a nice little stretch for a sec. Holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Great, slowly melting yourself all the way back down. Shoulders still stay down. Tucking your toes for me, elbows are back. Take a deep inhale, and then push yourself up. Holding here for 3, 2, 1. Great, knees come down, and let's shift. Awesome, take a nice deep inhale, and then stack up your spines for 3, 2, and 1. Cool, let's come back onto our backs. And give the ball underneath, or rather bring the ball underneath your right foot. You're slowly gonna roll yourself down to the tips of your shoulder blades. Hands come behind your head. And let's think about lengthening out a little bit here. Alrighty, so the left foot is gonna stay for a moment nice and pointed, staying in a tabletop position. And we're gonna stretch out the right leg all the way. And return your arms and your left leg. So meaning your right knee comes in, your left leg goes out, your arms come down by your side. So you're reaching with the right leg, hands behind your head. Exhale, reach the left leg, arms lengthen to the side. So we inhale, expand. Exhale, return. Now again, if you feel that you want to ditch the arms and keep your hands behind your head the whole time, please do so. If you feel like you want to change the shape or the direction of where you're pushing, you can do that as well. We have another 3. Sensing for 2, flexing out that right, pointing the left. And your last one. Great, hands behind your head. Let's roll the right leg all the way out. Keep it nice and pointed, pushed down and flexed. And then we make some bicycles here with the left, reaching here, and then releasing the right arm only. So inhale, push on down. Exhale, release the right. Good, we have another 3. I'm still noticing the difference between holding and reaching, and feeling how there's like just a moment before you start to move again for 2. And your last one here. Excellent, finding your way back to the center. And then rolling the ball underneath the left foot. Right knee stays here. And we slowly inhale, flex, rolling out the left. And then exhale, return and reach the right leg out, arms down by your side. So remember, you can decide where and how you want to move your arms. When the right leg goes out, I'd love for those hands to go down by your side. Great, we have another 3. And sensing how your shoulders get a little bit more space. How your hips can still happily stay grounded while the legs lengthen. And your last one here. Great, hands come behind your head. Reach out that left leg, keep it nice and flexed. And then stretch out this right leg here. So we're lowering down. And as you come back up, you reach out the left arm and stretch up the right leg. So just working a little bit with opposition and trying to add a little bit of extra layers of movement and hold for the next 5. Keeping the feeling of reaching with the toes and reaching with the fingers for 3. And then your last one here. Great, everything comes back to the center. Take the ball in between your hands for me. And then slowly and steadily roll back down on 3, 2, 1. Take a nice deep inhale. And let's bring the knees parallel to one another, bringing your feet a little bit further apart, or rather further away from you, heels dug into the ground. Inhaling, prepare. Exhale, squeeze the ball, roll on up. And on the way up, let's kick and hinge back with our right foot. So rolling back down again, arms come up by your ears. This time kicking with that left as you exhale, engage the belly, keeping the hinge back and lengthening through the heel. Great, so you're allowing for the body to find a little bit more reach here. And then you're using that power to kick and reach. Great, inhaling here. And let's exhale, squeeze with the left. Cool, one more on each side. And then your last one. And feeling that difference between the articulation, but then finding that length. Great, and then all the way back. Cool, squeezing, and then coming on up for me in a nice tall position. And then let's hinge back for a moment, bringing the feet into a tabletop position. Great. Bring the ball in between your knees as you hold either here or here, depending on how you're feeling. You squeeze the ball, stretch out your legs, and then tap the toes together for 5. Engaging, tapping for 4. Feeling again how your spine can get long, maybe even hinge back a little bit further if you can for 3. Squeeze and extend for 2. And your last one here. Great, soles of your feet on the floor. Let's release and just allow the body again to lengthen forward. Holding for 3, 2, and 1, and then finding your way all the way back. Awesome, thank you all for your service. Soles of your feet go back on the floor. Let's reach and just allow the upper body to hang, opening up your feet a bit. Bending your right leg and then the left. And here's where we say yes to everything that fits our vision of what we'd like our life to be. And we actively say no to everything else. We take a nice deep inhale. And then exhale, slowly roll and stack on 5, 4, 3, 2.